You are my one place. You are my match strike.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Omega Oluwatosin, and if this is your first time of stopping by, please support this channel by clicking on the subscription button and also on the notification bell so that once I upload a new video, you'll be among the first person to get notified. And on the channel today, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew a cowl top. And if this is a tutorial you are interested in, please keep on watching. These are the measurements you'll be needing for this tutorial. The materials and tools you'll be needing for this tutorial are your fabric, and this is the fabric I'll be using for this tutorial. It is a Duchess fabric. Make sure you use the fabric that's draped easily. Get a matching thread. The thread I'm holding is not matching the fabric. Get your own matching thread, a thread that matches your fabric. You need a tape pull or tape measure to take your horizontal and vertical measurement, a fabric, scissors and a paper scissors, a pencil to draft your pattern. You need a ruler to work with. I have my pattern paper to draft my pattern. You also need a paper tape. The taping machine is optional. As you can see in the video, I have already drawn the landmark. The first line you are seeing is the top line, which is also known as the shoulder line. This is where all your vertical measurements will be taken from. I've already marked the vertical measurement on which we are going to apply our measurement. Now I'm just going to label the line. The first line is the shoulder line. From the shoulder line, you're going to mark your bust point. My bust point is 10.5. This is the bust point line. From the 10.5, I move up 2 inches to mark my chest line. From there, still placing the tape on the shoulder line, you are going to mark your half length or your waistline. My waistline is 17.5, and then you're going to mark the top length of this dress. For me, I am using 23. You can work with 24 or 25 inches for your top. The last thing, you need to add your hem allowance, and that's what you are seeing at the bottom edge of this pattern. That's the top length. The last line is the top length. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to apply a measurement. I don't know that the camera is not showing the shoulder line, so just bear with me. What I did there was mark the half of my shoulder measurement on the shoulder line. Then I marked the neck width, which is 3 inches. From the half of my shoulder measurement, I came down 1 inches and connected to the 3 inches neck width. And that's what you see me doing. I connected it to the 3 inches neck width. For the neck depth, I'm going to use 3 inches. I'm marking 3 inches and I'm going to connect it to the 3 inches on the shoulder line. For the back neck depth, I'm going to come down 1 inches from the shoulder line and connect it into the neck width, that's the 3 inches, because we are going to use this pattern to draft the front and back body block for this dress. And after we are done with the neckline of the dress, we are going to draft the half O. Now on the chest line, you are going to mark half of the shoulder on the chest line, which is 8 inches. Then you're going to connect this to the shoulder point. From the shoulder point to the chest line, you're going to find the midpoint of this line. Yeah, you're going to find the midpoint of this line. What I have here is 7.5, half of 7.5. Then you're going to come in 0.75, that is half and quarter of an inch. Now before you drop the armhole, you're going to extend the chest line, and on the chest line you're going to mark quarter of your bust measurements on this line. So because of the silhouette of the top, I'm going to add half inches is quarter of my bust measurement plus half inches is. The dress is not fitted, but it is close fit. So my bust measurement is 38. Quarter of 38 is 9.5, plus half an inch is going to be 10 inches. Now you're going to mark 10 inches on the chest line. I just marked my 10 inches. This is going to help us drop the armhole. Now I'm using my pattern master to drop the armhole, connecting the shoulder point to the mid armhole and back to the chest line. And if you don't have a ruler to drop the armhole, please make sure that your hand is curvy enough to draft a good armhole for you. Now the next thing you want to do is drop the back armhole. Now from the midpoint, you're going to move out 0.25, that is quarter of an inch. Remember that the front armhole is a bit narrower than the back armhole, so you're just going to come out by 0.25 and withdraw another armhole. Apply quarter of your waist measurement plus 0.5 inch on the waistline, and on the hip line you are going to apply quarter of your hip measurement plus the ease as well, that half inches is on the hip line. Now I'm going to bring in my pattern master and draw the side seam of this top. After drafting the side seam, next you want to go ahead and add the seam allowance. I added 1 inch seam allowance on the bust, waist and hip, and reconnect the points with my pattern master. After we're done, I came in with my scissors and cut out the pattern. Please be careful, and when you are cutting the armhole, make sure you cut on the back armhole, and this is what your pattern should look like at this point. Next, you want to bring in your staple and measure the neckline. Now I'm just going to measure and record the neckline. Now what we have for the front neckline is 4.5 inch. I'm going to write it down because we need this to grab the collar. And for the back, we have 3.25 of an inch, that is 3.25 of an inch. So that's what we have there. I'm going to add them together. We have 7.25 of an inch. We are going to set this reading aside because we are going to use it to drop the collar of the top. To drop the collar, the first thing you need is to draw a straight line. Now you're going to begin your measurement. The straight line must measure the front and back neck measurement. Now I'm just going in with my pattern master to draw a straight line. After drawing the straight line, you want to come in and apply the measurement. For the back, you mark 3.25 of an inch, that is 2/8 of an inch. That's the first measurement you mark on this line. Now that point you have now is your shoulder point, and just label that part the back. And for the front, we are going to mark 4.5 of an inch. Remember, there is no button in the front of this collar, so you just need your front and back measurement. Now you're going to play in the line that is not supposed to be there. The height of this collar is going to be 1 inch because what we have on the neckline of that top is a 2-piece collar. Now you're going to get a ruler, bring in your ruler and connect the points together to create a long triangle. So now we have your collar stand, but the next thing you want to do from this point, you want to contour the collar stand so that it will relax perfectly well around the neckline. So from the center front, you're going to mark half of what you have there and connect it to the shoulder point. That mark point is the shoulder point. What you are doing now is contouring your collar. You see the way I connected that part? Now you're going to place your set square on the slant line. Make sure the tip is touching the center front and extend it upward. Remember the height of our collar is 1 inches. You're going to mark 1 inches from that half inches point. Now we're going to mark our 1 inches back and connect it to the shoulder point at the top of the collar. Now we are done with the collar stand, and this is what your collar stand should be looking like. Now I'm just going in to erase the part that is not supposed to be there, so that it will not confuse you. Now what you have now is a collar stand, a good collar stand. I'm just
You left me with a heavy heart. I'm colder than the day you met me in the dark. I feel the air around me as it starts to move. I realize I never had that much to lose.
Now that our collar stand is ready, the next thing you want to draft is the collar. I've already made the video. I don't know that it wasn't filming, so I will film the video. So this is the collar that I filmed. Make sure you notch your shoulder points on the collar, and this is what it's going to look like by the time you're done drafting the collar. This is how it is going to be, and you're going to cut the collar stand and the collar unfold. Now let me show you how to draft your collar. To draft the collar stand, you're going to come down from this point by half an inch.
You are my one place.
If you are not an expert in doing this, make sure you mark 2 points to get a straight line. And because I'm using a pattern master, it has a set square where I can use to achieve a straight line. Now I have drawn a straight line. The next thing is to draw that extension. Now remember our previous point, the former line, that point. Transfer that point to your collar. Now from that point, you're going to come out 1 inches. You move out 1 inches from that point and connect it to the center front of the collar stand. Yes, that point I'm pointing to. Now you are done drafting your collar. Now I'm going to use a marker to align the collar stand. So this is how the collar stand is going to look like. That's that for the collar stand. Please always make sure that you transfer your shoulder point to the collar. Now I'm just going to cut this off and place a fresh pattern paper underneath it to trace out the collar stand and the collar itself.
You left me with a heavy heart. I'm colder than the day you met me in the dark. I feel the air around me as it starts to move. I realize I never had that much to lose. Show me you can be more than just my enemy. One day you and me, we can live our fantasies. I want to believe we can rule the galaxy. Move on from insanity. We can live our fantasies. We can live our fantasies. You are my one place.
And this is what you should have at the end of the day. Always make sure you cut your collar stand and the collar unfold.
I wish we could stay.
Yeah, this is very well. Make sure you know which side is going to go around the neckline and which side is going to be sewn to the collar itself. So make sure you notch those points so that you don't get it mixed up when you want to start stitching them together. The next thing you're going to work on is the sleeve of this dress. Now the first thing you want to do, you want to bring out your sleeve details. Imagine your sleeve details is 22. Remove 5 or 6 inches for the curve that you are going to sew at the hem of this sleeve to complete your sleeve. Now what I have here, my sleeve length is 26 inches and I remove 6 inches for the curve. I've already ruled a line, which is the top line, that is the sleeve height. Now the next thing I'm doing is measuring the sleeve length. You can see is I'm just trying to remove 6 inches from my calculation. So what I have left is 19 inches. So I'm going to mark 19 inches. So this is going to be the sleeve length. So the next thing you want to do, you want to mark your sleeve height, the cap height. You call it the cap height. You're going to come down from the top line by 5 inches, which is standard. You can use 4.5 inches as well. So this line that you just drew is known as the bicep line or the underarm line. Now I'm just going to measure my upper hand measurement. The video did not capture it. So what I have there, I'm going to divide it by 2 and mark it on the cap height. I think I have 6.5 there. I'm going to add 1.5 inches to it. I'm also going to mark that 1.5 inches on the hem as well. Whatsoever I have on the bicep line is what I'm going to mark on the hem line because of the nature of this sleeve. You connect these 2 points with a straight line. And after connecting the side seam, the next thing you want to do, you want to connect the mid sleeve to the bicep line, to that point on the bicep line. And after connecting the bicep line to the cap height, the next thing you want to do, you want to mark the midpoint of this line. So now you're going to measure your slant line and find the midpoint. Mark a point on that midpoint. Now you're going to move up from that midpoint by 0.75 of an inch. That is half and quarter of an inch. Then you're going to find the midpoint from the midpoint to the bicep point. You're going to find the midpoint and move in half of an inch from this point. Half of an inch from this point. Now you're going to use your cowl or your hand to draw your sleeve. I'm just trying to use my pattern master to draw my sleeve. At the end of the day, I end up using my hand because I think my hand gave me what I wanted. So I later ended up using my hand. I told you guys, please use your hand. I think my hand has can curve perfectly well. So that's the front part. From that midpoint again, you're going to move up 0.25 of an inch from that point to draft the back curve. So that's that for the sleeve, and this is what you should have at the end of the day. Trim off all the unwanted lines that you don't want. So I'm just going to trim out the sleeve.
You left me with a heavy heart. I'm colder than the day you met me in the dark. I feel the air around me as it starts to move.
To draft the curve that will go around the sleeve, you're going to use the many pieces. Now just going to fold it in half. I don't want to fold, just use it like that because you are still going to cut on fold. Now I'm just going to measure 5 inches, which is standard. Remember that the sleeve was a little bit extended forward. This is my curve. Then I'm just going to extend the line by 1 inch. That's the extension that you see at the end of the sleeve. Now I'm just going in to highlight the curve so that you know which line to use, and you're going to cut that part on fold. Now you're going to cut 2 pieces of this. You're going to cut 4 pieces, a pair for the right hand side and a pair for the other side. So this is what your sleeve is going to look like. Before drafting the front part of this pattern, we are going to use the back to cut out the fabric before altering the pattern to draft the front part of this tutorial.
Demons I need to face. You left me with a heavy heart. I'm colder than the day you met me in the dark. I feel the air around me as it starts to move. I realize I never had that much to lose, to lose. Show me you can be more than just my enemy. One day you and me, we can live our fantasies. I want to believe we can rule the galaxy.
Now our pattern is ready to be used. Train the neckline and the shoulder line so that you have only the front details available. The next thing you want to do with this pattern is that you want to alter this pattern to give you that cowl neck design that we have at the front part of this tutorial. So this is what your pattern should look like at this point. The next thing you want to do, you want to alter the center front. Now you can go as far as below the waistline, but I just want mine to be above the waistline. You can go below the waistline towards the hem of the dress. Now I'm just connecting this to the neck width of the pattern of your bodice. So you're going to connect it with a slant line and trim it off. Please be careful, don't tear your paper. After you are done altering this neckline, the next thing you want to do, you want to add your slash line. Now I have altered the neckline. I want mine to be 1.5 inches above the waistline. You can use the waistline, you can go below the waistline. You can move up from the hem line by just 2 inches. It depends on how deep you want your cowl design to be. But I want it to be around the waistline because I'm not the only one that is going to wear it. I know that the moment I finish wearing this dress, my sister is going to pick it up and wear it to school. Then you're going to draw the slash line. Now for the underarm, I'm going to mark 2 inches and connect it to that point on the waistline. I'm going to do a slash line into the mid armhole and also towards the mid neckline. Please watch where my slash line is coming from. It's coming from that 2 inches above the waist point that I altered my neckline to be. So you connect your slash line the way you see me doing. You can also slash into the waistline. It depends on how you want or where the direction of where you want your slash line to go. Now after finding the mid armhole, I'm also going to connect it to that point as well. Now that we have our slash lines, we are going to cut it out. We're going to cut towards the tip. Don't cut out, towards the tip of the side seam. Now after marking where you want to cut, just trim. Watch the way I slash into those lines. After I was done slashing, I draw a straight line. I align the center front of my pattern with the straight line. After that, I spread my pattern out, the slash part out. You can spread as much as you want, you can go over, you can spread it more out than the way I did. It just depends on what you want or the fullness you want around your neckline. So you can see the way I'm just trying to add fullness to this pattern. Once I was done, I used a marker to extend the straight line. So the part of the pattern that falls beyond the straight line, you're going to cut it off. You can see what we have here. Just make sure you tape this very well. So this is what you should have at the end of the day. How dress or top as surface, it has its own facing. Now from the neck point, you are going to move in by 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Then from the center point, you're going to come down 5 or 6 inches. Now you're going to fold along the center neckline of this tutorial and trace the facing. Make sure you trace the way you see me doing. Now I'm just going in with my pattern or with my marker to trace out what we just drafted. So this is what the facing is going to look like. So you're just going to trim it up. Make sure the center front of your pattern is straight. Now just going to fold your fabric on bias. Make sure you fold your fabric on bias and place the pattern along the folded edge of the fabric. After you are done, you're going to cut out your pattern. And after you are done cutting out of pattern, please make sure you notch the necessary points, especially that facing part. Add your hem allowance. You can see I'm just trying to notch where necessary. And this is what your pattern should be looking like at the end of the day. The back, the front pattern, the collar piece. You can see the way I cut them out, my sleeve and its curve. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumb up, like and share my video, and don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Have a nice day and bye.